This podcast is part of the Global Sports Podcast Network, the only network bringing you exclusive daily news and views on your Premier League team, the Premier League, women's football, and fantasy football. A unique listening experience that puts fans first, bringing you the very latest breaking news from your team. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and make us your first listen every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network. Every club, every day.
Every club, every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.
Hello. So, we have a very special episode today. As you can see, I would be introducing other people right now, but it's just me today. You're stuck with me. So today, what's on the docket is we're going to be doing rest of the Premier League predictions / what's happening with the top 4 / the top 5 this season. Relegation's already done. Liverpool and Arsenal are already set. But we're going to go week by week, predict every single result, and see where it leaves us in the table. Let's start with what I think is going to happen in the run-in this season. I think the team that are out of the... Let's pull up the Premier League table. So, right now, Tottenham lost to Nottingham Forest today, which puts us at Liverpool on 79 points, probably going to wrap up the title next weekend. Arsenal on 66 should be out of the chaos of the 5 teams below. 5 teams separated by 3 points. Ridiculous. It was 2 points yesterday, 3 points today as Forest won. Nottingham Forest, 60 points, 14 goal difference. Newcastle, 59 points, 18 goal difference. Manchester City, 58 points with 22 goal difference. Chelsea with 18 goal difference and 57 points. And also on 57 points is Aston Villa with a goal difference of 6. So, if we're looking at the table, the 2 teams that are missing out right now are Chelsea and Aston Villa. And those are going to be my 2 most likely candidates to miss out. The next team below that is Bournemouth on 49 points, and then Fulham 48, Brighton 48, Brentford 46. So I think those are going to make the middle of the table. There's so many permutations of how this changes. Because at a minimum of, I believe, 8 teams will qualify, because Newcastle United, if they don't qualify via the league, have already secured European football for next year by winning the League Cup. They've secured Conference League football, and if just to get this right, the FA Cup winners finish outside of the top 5, so they would qualify for the Europa League. Then we have 1 in the league, and also Chelsea finish outside of the top 5 and win the Conference League that they're currently in. The Premier League will have no teams in the Conference League next year. That's where we are in the situation, which is entirely possible. Because we have Nottingham Forest, Aston Villa, who I said were a favorite to miss out, and City, who could also miss out, and Crystal Palace, who will miss out. So we have about a half chance of the FA Cup team missing out on the top 5 and gaining Europa League through that way. So let's just crack into it. I've said my prediction: Chelsea and Aston Villa. I think Chelsea is pretty much a lock because they have to play like Newcastle, Forest, and Man United, who United aren't great, but there's still something there. Maybe that's my heart over my head. Heart over my head. Anywho, let's start with the big result or the big fixture of this midweek. Man City versus Aston Villa. I think this is going to be a super, super interesting game. I'd love to see Villa put on a performance, go to the Etihad, knock them down a peg. City have like a relatively easy run-in. I think to go into that run-in with no confidence, like we've seen City all season, will be very interesting. I'd also love to see how City react to not being in the Champions League. Like, will they bounce back, or will they the allure of Man City just be suddenly way less? I'd be surprised about that. I think Pep could pull in anyone. But I'm going to go with a very conservative 2-2. Arsenal Crystal Palace. We're going to have to go relatively fast on the fixtures. We'll go. Crystal Palace have been doing okay, but as of late, dropping off, and they have a pretty poor run-in, and I'm sure they'll rest players for the weekend. So we'll go 3-0. Chelsea Everton. This is a must-win for Chelsea because out of their 5 games, Everton is arguably the easiest, but they, I think, are like 5th or 6th in the table since David Moyes has come into the club. So I'm going to bet on Chelsea just to make it interesting. We'll go 1-0. Brighton and West Ham, I'm just going to say 1-1 because we're focused on the top 5 race. Newcastle Ipswich. Ipswich will get relegated if they lose here. I mean, they're going to get relegated anyways, but we'll go with a very hefty 4-0. Southampton Fulham. Let's go 2-0 to Fulham. Wolves Leicester. Just put Mateus Cunha in my FPL, so let's hope he does well. Let's do 2-0. Bournemouth and Man United. As a Man United fan, I want to believe we'll win. But as a pragmatist, I think we'll be focused on the Thursday game against Bilbao. We'll rest players. We'll give some players some momentum, I'm sure. Bruno will get his minutes in. But I'm going to go 1-1, and I think that's being optimistic. Liverpool will wrap up the title against Tottenham. Tottenham, no Heung-min Son, who hasn't even been firing really this season. That is going to be a procession. Forest Brentford. Brentford were pretty dismal away from home at the start of the season, but I think they've picked up their form as of late. And I'd be very surprised if it was an easy game for Forest. I think this is even though Forest are very good defensively, and Mbeumo and Vissa are a terrifyingly good front two for Brentford. Let's see. And just to spice it up, I'm going to go 1-1. All right, let's calculate. Okay, City drop out because they drew against Villa. So it goes Villa on 58 in 7th, City on 59 in 6th, Chelsea on 60 in 5th, Forest on 61 in 4th, Newcastle on 62 in 3rd. So each a 1 point above the next. That'd be delicious to see next weekend. Let's play the first ad, and we'll do 2 to 3 fixtures before the next ad break.
Your body is unique. Your body is unique. And Global Sports Podcast Network has partnered with Bioniq, the world's most personalised supplements. Bioniq provide 100% tailor-made supplements designed to deliver precisely what your body needs at exactly the right levels to optimize your health. No guessing. So click the link in the show notes. Use the code GSPN 2025 for 40% off your first month's subscription. Bioniq. Don't settle for off-the-shelf solutions made for just anybody. Get what's right for you right now.
All right. Next fixtures. Starting with City versus Wolves. That'll be an interesting games. Just to keep them in the race, let's say that Wolves end their winning run at City. Let's go 2-1 to City. Villa versus Fulham. I think this is a really easy banana skin for Villa. Because Fulham can beat anyone on their day. Let's go 2-0 to Villa. Everton Ipswich, quick 2-0 to Everton. One of the last games of Goodison. It'll be very charged up. Leicester versus Southampton. A pretty nothing game. I'd be interested because Leicester haven't scored a home goal since December. So this is like the chance to give their fans a little hurrah. And Southampton are on, according to my predictions, would be on 11 points. So, you could see this going either way. I'm going to give this to... Let's give Leicester a goal, and let's give Southampton 2, and scalp them off the bottom so they don't match the Derby record. West Ham, Tottenham. Let's go 2-1 West Ham. Tottenham look a little more toothless than West Ham do. Like the biggest caveat I'd say about West Ham is I'm so surprised that Evan Ferguson hasn't lit it up for West Ham. I was so sure that he would be that signing for them. He's touted as 100 million man a few years ago for Brighton. So it's sad to see that he's not holding up to it. Arsenal, Bournemouth. Arsenal too solid defensively, 3-0. Brentford, Man United. Oh God, another dismal away day for United. Let's go. Not 4-0 like a few years ago, please. God no. Let's go 2-0 Brentford because we'll be tired after the Europa League. Brighton and Hove Albion hosting Newcastle. Another banana skin. Brighton went to Newcastle in the FA Cup and won 2-1 after extra time. I think there'll be a little more fire in Newcastle's belly. Let's go 2-2. Chelsea, Liverpool. I could see Chelsea doing something in this game. I'm going to give them at least a point. Liverpool will have just come off the title. Trent is coming back, though, so that helps them a lot. A lot more quality offensively, but Mohamed Salah has gone missing since slightly before the PSG games, which is so frustrating because he was on for... I mean, he's still a great season, arguably the best Premier League season of all time, but he could have hit some insane numbers if he kept it up. Chelsea, Liverpool, let's go. Let's spice it up. 2-1 Chelsea. Crystal Palace, Nottingham Forest. Let's go 2-0 Forest because they're doing really good. That leaves us with 3 game weeks to go. Forest on 64 in third. Newcastle on 63 in fourth. Chelsea on 63, which caveat, that means beating Liverpool. 6th place, Manchester City on 62. 7th place, Villa on 61. Okay, next week starts with early kickoff is Newcastle versus Chelsea. Oh, that is a game to watch, along with Chelsea Forest, Newcastle, Chelsea. Chelsea are gonna have a hard time to get out of this. I think that's the reason. I think I want Chelsea to beat Liverpool more for the top 4 race than anything. Um, even as a United fan, I love things going down to the final day of the season. I think it's so entertaining. Newcastle, Chelsea. Gordon's coming back. Will that disrupt the team more? They had an off game against Villa, but they're gonna have a little more rest going into this game. Newcastle has been not happy hunting for Chelsea in recent years. I'm gonna say the trend continues. Let's go 3-1. Fulham, Everton. Let's give Everton an away win. I think they have so much. They're so solid defensively. That being said, I have forgotten to mention that James Tarkovsky is out, and that might cost them going into this run-in. So I'm actually going to change that to a 1-1. 2-1 to Fulham. 2-1 Fulham. Final answer. Lock it in. All right. Ipswich, Brentford. 3-0 Brentford. West Ham, Man United at Old Trafford, which, except for the Leon game, has felt like an away ground. Head over heart. No, sorry. Heart over head this time. 2-0 United. Southampton, Man City. Let's go 3-0. It's been pretty common scoreline at the St. Mary's this season. Tottenham, Crystal Palace. Let's go 2-0. I think I'm giving Crystal Palace a bit of a rough time of it. Wolves, Brighton. I just love the way that Vitor Pereira coaches his team and how solid they were. I actually watched the United Wolves game, waking up at 6 a.m. in California time, and they looked really good. Bit toothless up front, but I think that's Mateus Cunha's first start in 4 or 5 weeks since that red card in the FA Cup. So I think they'll find more form. I say find more form, like they haven't won 5 straight games in the row and now have Leicester this week. But I think they might be a tough test for Brighton. That being said, I'm going to go with the Brighton away win. 2-1 to Brighton. Bournemouth, Villa. Ooh. Villa need to win that game. Let's go 1-1. Oh, typed in 11. Nottingham Forest, Leicester, 3-0. Liverpool, Arsenal. Just because the Arsenal fans were so happy last week, I'm gonna predict a drubbing. I know I'm being inconsistent, but it's my predictions. What are you gonna do? Change it? All right, let's see. This leads us into the penultimate week. Forest on 67. Newcastle on 66, City on 65, Chelsea on 63, Villa on 62. Villa do have some hard games, but they have an easy game this week. Spurs. Let's go 2-0 Villa. Chelsea United. I think this is the week after. Let me check. Of United's Bilbao second leg. Let's see, but we won't be traveling for that one, so the exhaustion would only be if we go to extra time. It is not. We get a week break after the West Ham game. Okay, so with that being said, I'm still gonna give it to Chelsea. 2-0. Let's go 2-1 Chelsea. Everton Southampton, 2-0 Everton. West Ham Forest. Let's go 3-1 Forest. Brentford Fulham, let's go high scoring 3-3. I don't know. Brentford has been a happy hunting ground for goals. Crystal Palace Wolves, let's go maybe Wolves sneak a 1-0 win. I think I'm being harsh to Crystal Palace, but I don't think I've even given them a single point. But hey, it's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. Okay, Leicester Ipswich. Ooh, Leicester have Southampton and Ipswich coming to them at the end of the season. That's so unfortunate. Like that is perfect home games for like middle of the season to break up. Ouch. They're always destined to go down. Let's let's give Ipswich a 2-0 win. I think Leicester feel a little more toothless at the moment if Delap gets back from injury. He's a class striker. Okay. Arsenal Newcastle at the Emirates. Newcastle have already gone there and won this season in a game that very much mattered to their season and their legacy of ending that 70-year trophy drought. Sorry. Let's go. Let's give Newcastle a point away from home. 2-2. Man City Bournemouth. I'd be very surprised if City don't win this. They're gonna have a lot of rest outside of the FA Cup. 3-0. That's a little excessive, but City usually gets stronger at the end of the seasons. Brighton and Liverpool, let's just go 1-1. Liverpool have nothing to play for anymore. So, going into the final weekend of the Premier League, it stands Forest on 70 points, City on 68, Newcastle on 67, Chelsea on 66, Villa on 65. So that means Nottingham Forest are safe. Nottingham Forest will qualify. And given their run in, they should qualify. They have the easiest run in. And they're a point ahead of the pack at this current moment after beating Spurs today. So the real question is on the final day, can City beat Fulham? Can Chelsea beat Forest? Oh my god. Ouch. Can can Villa go to United and pick up 3 points? And can Newcastle win at home to Everton? We're gonna take our second ad break and we're gonna answer those questions at the end of the ad break.
Here at the Global Sports Podcast Network, we spent a lot of time selecting our delivery platform. Zencastr came out as the clear winner. With 4K video recording from your phone and AI editing that automatically removes all those ums and ahs, it's super easy to start a podcast that sounds great and is delivered efficiently. If you're ready to tell your story, check out the link in the description to learn more about Zencastr.
Okay, so let's start off with the games that don't matter because there is no chronological order because they all take place on the same time at the last day of the season. Side note, this is like Christmas to me. I love this day, having like my two screens open, my phone, like my girlfriend's laptop, like as many screens as I can get on that day. Each one will have a game on, and it's beautiful. Anyways, Bournemouth Leicester 2-0 to Bournemouth, obviously. Ipswich West Ham. Let's give Ipswich a final day victory. 2-0 Ipswich. Liverpool Crystal Palace. Let's just go 2-0. I'm sure there's a lot of 2-0s here, but I like predicting that more than a 1-0. Southampton, Arsenal, 3-0 Arsenal. Oh, that's at 30 now. Tottenham, Brighton. Let's assume that Tottenham beat Bodo Glimt. That means they would be prepping. Let me check the date of the Europa League final. Knockout. May 21st. Oh, I think that might be before. Oh, so this will be coming off the Europa League final. Oh, I thought it might be midweek. Well, tired legs. Let's go. Brighton get a 2-0 away win because they just wanted more. Wolves, Brentford. Let's go 2-2. So our final 4 games between our 5 Champions League hopefuls. Fulham, Man City. Ooh, I think I want to spice this one up and let's go. Let's say Fulham beat City. I don't think they will, but given how City's season has gone, not off the cards. Newcastle, Everton. So let's go 1-0. I've done enough of those. Newcastle. Man United and Aston Villa. I think the big question about this fixture is, will United make it to the Europa League final? I think head over heart, no. So we should be fresh for the game. And the other question would be, are Villa in form and playing in the FA Cup final the weekend after? Either way, Villa will rotate their squad better than United. Marcus Rashford coming to United to secure Champions League football for Aston Villa. Let's go with it. Throwbacks to Gabby Agbonlahor, a 1-0 Aston Villa win at Old Trafford on the final day of the season. Just epitomizes how rubbish United's season has been. Then the big fish to fry. Nottingham Forest home to Chelsea. Let's go low scoring because Forest are going to be cagey. Chelsea are going to be expansive and open-ish, but the way Nicholas Jackson has been leading the front line has been, I hate to say it because I tried to back him early in the season, a little abysmal. I think his decision making has just been so poor. I think he does have a good finish on him when he gets a chance, but I just think the way he fashions those chances is so sporadic and random that when he leads the front line of the Chelsea, he often fluffs an attack even like at that stage before it becomes a big chance. Like he could have so many big chances created stat, but I think that's gonna cost him. And I think I'm gonna go 1-0 Forest. They've had a lot of 1-0 wins. So write down your predictions. Where do you think this leaves us? On 73 points, clear of the pack, Nottingham Forest are in third. Newcastle are in fourth on 70 points, and City lost earlier. Villa won. Drum roll, please. City still go through on goal difference, even though they're both on 68 points. Chelsea end on 66. This would mean, unless something crazy happens in the FA Cup, as in Palace win at this point, Villa would qualify for the Europa League. Chelsea, assuming they win the Conference League, would qualify for the Europa League. And excuse me, Fulham would snake into the Conference League. I think the other lingering question is, do 15th and 16th place, respectively, United and Spurs, will one of them win the Europa League? I think Spurs have a much better chance, but I would actually say whoever wins out of Bilbao and United has the best chance of winning. Obviously, if you've watched any Bilbao games this season, which I did a few at the start of the season, um, they're kind of terrifying, especially the fact that they only have players from the Basque region, from San Sebastian in Spain. Insane that they play such fluid and progressive football, and yeah, it's gonna be a tough watch. But if United and Spurs do win the Europa League, that means we'll have six, I repeat, six teams in the Champions League, and then we'll have two in the Europa League, assuming that Crystal Palace don't win the FA Cup. If they do, then we'll have three in the Europa League and none in the conference. And if they don't, Fulham, according to this table, will secure Conference League football, which would be massive for them. I think that's the next race that we should be focusing on outside of the Champions League is Fulham, Brighton, Brentford, and Bournemouth. One or two, potentially, if things go crazy, will get Conference League. I I realize the table says Fulham, and according to my calculations, but I did give them the final day win against City. Head over heart. Let's see. So let's compare. So Brentford have Forest, Fulham. Hmm. Who do Brighton have this weekend? West Ham. I think that's going to be a tough one because each of them has like a big game. Brighton have Liverpool. Fulham have City. Who do Brentford have? Man United. Big game. They also Brentford and Fulham play each other in the penultimate week. That is going to be the fixture which will really, really matter at the end of the season. I think I'm going to back. I'm gonna back Brighton. My table says Fulham, so maybe I get partial credit for both. But like I think Brighton could snake it. I think Brighton. There's a good chance that they pick up some form. Um, that Wolves game is going to be massive for them. That Newcastle game is going to be massive for them. But Brighton, in a different season, I could see them being in that top 7 or 8. So maybe they snake into that 8th position this season, but they're a lot better than their table would tell you. And I think most fans that have watched their team for a full 90 minutes play Brighton have not had an easy game. I mean, there's not many easy games in the Premier League, but Brighton certainly aren't in that category. So to reiterate, the top 5 are Liverpool, Arsenal, and according to my calculations, Forest, Newcastle, City make the top 5. I think Villa and Chelsea miss out, and Brighton will get it. No escapes for Ipswich, Leicester, and Southampton. Southampton do not get the ignominious 11 points of Derby. Also, side note, I think Southampton are a victim of the Premier League success. The Premier League is just that strong. especially if you're a promoted team. I could do a whole another 30, 40 minutes on this, where these promoted teams go up, come down, get the parachute payments, and then come right back up. We just saw Burnley and Leeds today come up. Congratulations to them, but they also have parachute payments that help the club versus the rest of the championship, who have to fight tooth and nail. It's not a great system, but it's a system we got, and it is what it is. Anyways, this has been wonderful to record a solo podcast. I wish to see you guys soon. Um, have a nice day, and let's play the outro. Auf Wiedersehen.
Every club, every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.